Hello and welcome back to theCUBE. We are in Chicago and we are streaming live right here at Nutanix.next. I'm Allison Kosick. I'm going to be your host throughout the day alongside the one and only John Furrier. He is the co-founder and co-CEO of SiliconANGLE and theCUBE. As you can tell, I am new at theCUBE. I'm just getting the hang of this. So thrilled to be sitting at the desk with you.
I mean, we've been covering Nutanix for a long, long time, and they were actually on theCUBE in 2010 originally when hyperconverged was happening. We've watched the journey, and now it's a whole new ball game, and you're seeing AI operating systems emerging, the control plane, and the role of ecosystem. In this segment, we're really going to explore how the role of the ecosystem is a force multiplier for value creation, and this is very much a big part of all the main AI platform. AI infrastructure is based on ecosystem and architecture, and Nutanix has got a good game going on.
And we're in the middle of a lot of change.
Yeah.
Let's bring in two wonderful names to bring into this discussion. We've got Gregory Lehrer, Nutanix's Vice President of Business Development and Ecosystems. Welcome.
Thank you, good morning, Allison.
Good morning, John. And Todd Lieb, the Vice President of Cloud Partnerships at Dell. Welcome to the conversation.
Thank you for having us.
What's your feeling so far about how the conference is going?
I'll start with you, you're the guest, go ahead.
No, it's fantastic. There's a lot of energy. It's interesting to have attended the conference over multiple years and to see it grow. We were talking about partnerships yesterday, and I know there's like 110 or something. It's like more than twice what was here last year. So there's a lot of energy, and there's a lot of great announcements actually as well.
Gregory, your thoughts?
Well, it's indeed, look at the show floor, it's packed, we're sold out, 5,000 customers, more than 100 sponsors. Just like he said, I think I talked to Rajiv, our CEO, was telling me that 3 years ago they had 25, 30 sponsors on show floor max. So there's definitely a momentum, there's definitely a growth that we want to capture with partners such as the cool kids on my right, Todd.
I mean, Todd, I want to chat about Dell. Obviously the success on the numbers, certainly on the business performance with AI factories. Check, home run on that. That's 2 years ago. That has changed the game. We're starting to see cloud be the foundational element, cloud native, Kubernetes, containers. We're hearing that thing, that game's still evolving. That's in the announcements with Nutanix. Now you're hearing things like shadow AI. You're starting to see agentic infrastructure emerge. It's an AI operating environment, so we're moving from cloud to an AI era. What's new with the partnership? How are you guys engineering that with Nutanix? What's going on with that?
Yeah, so if you go back in time a little bit, right? You go back to, you said 2010. I wasn't working with Nutanix at that point.
It's not us, it's not us.
But so think about, you're back with Nutanix, with HCI, with kind of relatively simple infrastructure. Fast forward to today, we are doing integration with Nutanix on our AI factory. We're deploying AI workloads on Dell infrastructure with Nutanix. We are deploying new app dev pipelines with their Kubernetes capabilities sitting on infrastructure. We are taking the traditional virtual machine drama that's playing out in the market and helping with that as well. So you go from simple HCI and a virtual machine to all of these things happening. And Gregory and I were talking earlier, it's like they have a platform sitting on the Dell platform, and we can support those whatever direction it goes.
Gregory, I wrote a post for KubeCon EU, which happened a couple weeks ago, and the headline, first sentence was, cloud native meet AI native, which is really more of a statement saying, listen, those worlds are coming together. Recently, the Linux Foundation announced a new foundation called the Agentic AI Foundation, which already has 170 members. And that's going to build on top of the cloud native. So the ecosystem growth with AI is massive. You guys have increased your portfolio of partners. I don't know what the number increase was last year, but it's a hell of a lot more logos this year.
Double.
What's going on with the ecosystem? Tell us your strategy and some of the momentum you have.
So, there's two buzzwords in the Silicon Valley right now, as we all know. There's platform and ecosystem. I mean, the reality is that I agree with the statement that if you don't have a strong ecosystem, if you don't have integration, you cannot scale, because the customer needs are very diverse. We were talking about the shadow IT and now shadow AI. I mean, this one tough job on earth right now is being CIO. I mean, I wouldn't want to be a CIO even nowadays in the industry because it's very difficult. So, but on our side, for Todd and I, we need to make sure that we maintain consistency and we can help our customer have a choice they want, because every company is different. Everyone will want a different API, a different integration, a different vendor. I mean, I grew up in a world where you have one stack Microsoft or one stack Dell or one stack whatever, this world is done. It doesn't exist anymore. So all of us need to be very interchangeable, sorry. You know, I'm French, English is not my first language, so it's so early in the morning, I'm
Pas problem.
I'm stumbling upon words, you know. No, but my point is that it's very difficult. So, I mean, the first one who is achieving like really ecosystem diversity is really important. I mean, it's not so much the number of sponsors on the show floor which is important, it's like having the right sponsor everywhere. The sponsors who are here, they're here because they want to meet customers, and there are a hell lot of customers, 5,000, and they want to maintain innovation and differentiation. And that's why for some of these, whether they're small partner or big partner, such as Todd here, you want to have this constant fight and this edge. That goes back to your question about cloud native and AI. I mean, 2 years ago, in my job, I had one person doing cloud native and AI kind of almost together. Today, it's very different. So this landscape is evolving very fast. The partners are evolving very quickly. And if you see today on the keynote of my boss, Tarkan Manir, you will see a lot of announcement around Kubernetes and observability of Kubernetes, because this is really something that is really crucial and critical for our customers.
If you look at NVIDIA, for instance, not the GTC, they're talking ecosystem, they're moving up the stack. They're a chip company.
Yeah.
They're a systems company, they're a software company. So the role of systems is key, and if you look at the Linux Foundation, which I mentioned, it's exploding, the ecosystem's exploding. Now, that being said, I think we all agree that's happening, but as a business driver, it's becoming a competitive advantage. So talk about that role, because co-design is a big discussion. You guys have joint engineering, not just go to market. The role of the partner isn't yesterday's definition. What's changed in the partnership? Is it more integration? Is it more engineering? We're seeing things like people are co-designing a lot more because they're tightly coupled.
So Dell is actually a perfect example of that, because you have, I would say, two types of integration. You have a point solution, which is you have one solution, and you have a strategic platform partnership, which is what we're having with Dell here today. Our partnership with Dell is not just one product on top of another. It spans across multiple layers, multiple use case, because customer, back to your point, they want to have a fully integrated, not only experience, but a fully integrated solution. They just don't want to resolve Nutanix plus Dell for just this. Ideally, they want to have like this consistent approach across the board. So that's why Todd and I are working not just on the XC Plus, which is the initial solution where we started with Dell in 2010, before we were born, of course. But it spans across storage, it spans across AI, it spans across multiple scenarios.
Yeah, agreed. Okay. It's a team sport. So this idea, like if you're NVIDIA, it's interesting to sell a chip, but if a business doesn't get value out of it, then you don't buy another one. But if you buy a chip and then the ecosystem helps you derive the use case, the value, make money, reduce costs, whatever it is, you buy 10 more. And I think that's the play that we're all in right now.
So whoever streamlines wins this game.
Agreed. You have to have a broad set of partners. You need to be able to put them in a way that's useful.
All right, one of the things about our new partnership at the NYSE, I've observed the language of tech and money are kind of different. Technology, we talk about architecture, roadmaps, velocity. Wall Street's like risk, durability, and returns. But you're starting to see the convergence of that, and the AI factory and all the growth going into the infrastructure right now is forcing an accelerated developer market. So what is the strategy with the AI factories, and how does Nutanix fit in to that? Because that's what everyone's looking at, because the enterprise market is about to explode in growth. We're seeing the numbers from OpenAI, Anthropic, just on the model side, and that infrastructure is going to be built quickly. The enterprise is going to move super fast.
So I don't know if I belong to New York, to Wall Street, but him and I are talking profitability, durability, and tech, to be candid with you, because we have a lot of demand. I mean, we cannot obviously share the numbers, but I can tell you that we have, like you said, we have a huge growth, and I'll let you answer the question from your Dell perspective, how you see the Nutanix pool, but it's massive. Indeed, it's massive. And we have a lot of work about scaling. I mean, a lot of our discussion for Todd and I and how we scale the team, how we set them up to grow as fast as we can. Nutanix alone, all up, generated, it's public knowledge, 1,000 new customers last quarter alone. 1,000 new customers. You realize the amount of new customers that means we onboard on just one quarter. So, I mean, this is growth that you experience in only different stages. But when it comes to Nutanix and Dell and AI Factory, yes, we exactly are in that train right now, and we're trying to figure this out as fast as we can. You want to add to this?
The only thing that I would add is some of the announcements yesterday. So you asked like Nutanix and how it fits in. Okay. In my mind, the Dell AI Factory is a platform, and then there's this, at the top, there's models and use cases like you described. Yeah. Nutanix is the platform that sits in the middle, and that's very powerful. So for enterprises to bring AI to life, you got to have the AI Factory platform, say from Dell, the Nutanix platform in the middle with all the controls and tools, et cetera, and then you run on top. And that, I think, is the sweet spot that we're co-engineering, taking to market, et cetera.
Alice and I were talking about the business side of things, and we do speak Wall Street and technology on theCUBE, so we are bilingual or multilingual.
Trilingual.
We speak many languages.
You speak French, John. I know you speak French.
Come on.
The underlying technology, okay, is a business issue because people are seeing profit with AI. They're starting to see value. The enterprises are not yet adopted. What's going on with the products on the Dell side? Because as the enterprise look at this, is it PowerFlex? What is the makeup of the underlying products, and what's the roadmap look like?
Yeah, so great question. So I'll focus kind of on the, I guess there's two messages to the question. One is what's happening like kind of in cloud and the data center. We were talking about this earlier. The other is on the AI side. So I think if you were to take both of those, we're innovating like crazy around the compute layers, right? There's an evolution from HCI into more of a disaggregated infrastructure strategy. On the AI side, we're constantly trying to keep up with NVIDIA and the release of new chips and GPUs. But the big story, I think, and John, we were talking about this earlier, is like the data, right? Good data means good AI. Bringing AI to the data is really the strategy. And so there's a lot of innovation that's happening in the storage, right? Where storage is interesting again. And customers are really paying attention as to where their data is, how do they clean it and connect it, and make sure that it's available to AI. And then the sovereign story, right? Sovereign requirements, whether that's in country in Europe or just for customers that have regulatory and compliance requirements, is really affecting the data. So from a roadmap point of view, think on the compute layer and around those data center and AI factories, lots of evolution, keeping up with NVIDIA, building networks to handle the capacity, latency, and the throughput. And then on the storage, it's evolving to make sure we can feed those data sets.
You know, Dell has been a leader for many, many decades in in the computer industry, and it's been a heterogeneous environment. Interoperability has always been an issue. We look at computer, data centers, cloud. Now more than ever, this neutrality, this control plane that you guys are looking at have established, ecosystems voting with their partnership, we see that. You see AMD, NVIDIA, you got a lot of partners. Nutanix, I wrote this in my post yesterday, you got that neutrality vibe going on. You guys sit below. Explain what that means from a Nutanix standpoint and what that enables in the ecosystem, that importance of that independent control plane, operating system for agentic.
Look, I mean, you saw us, we announced a massive partnership with AMD, but still 2 weeks ago you and I were at GTC in San Jose. I mean, I have to follow what my customer wants, and my customer wants neutrality and interoperability. It's essential for me to be part of his Dell AI factory, back to the previous question. But at the same time, like I mentioned, I was raised in a world where you can have one hardware vendor, one software vendor. This thing is gone. Today customers want interoperability, and as a result of that, we need to make sure that whatever the customer wants, we can serve them. I cannot be just branded just Dell AI Factory. I have to work with all sorts of vendors. This is a condition of success for the company, not for the ecosystem. The ecosystem wants that.
But what are they telling you, Gregory? When you talk to them, what are some of the conversations that you have with them?
Oh, they want us to go faster in integrating. I mean, we used to have a backlog of vendors to certify on Nutanix platform. This is being resolved, but we still have more coming in because of other external factors. Some are related to the competition, some are related just as the massive pool and demand from the market, from customers themselves. My number one priority is to resolve a backlog of internal ISV wants to be certified on the Nutanix platform. This is critical for me. This is a condition of success because it's not about the number of logos, it's about the quality. What the customer wants. My salesperson, they tell me I need you to certify this solution on Dell hardware in that time frame, otherwise the CIO of this customer cannot buy these new hotels or things like this. This is daily,
Before we wrap up, my final question is the power of the ecosystem. I mentioned earlier is a business opportunity, it's a competitive advantage. Dell has an ecosystem, you have an ecosystem. What is the role of the ecosystem? What's your guys' vision each? What's your vision of the ecosystem? And how are they going to interplay? What's that look like as people try to figure out what side of the street they're going to land on? If they're not on the AI side, they'll probably be out of business, that's clear. People are retooling and refactoring their business models. What is the role of the ecosystem?
You want to start or me?
Go ahead,
Sure, I think of it as like a Venn diagram. You have a set of partners, we do as well, there's a lot of overlap. And I think the role of the ecosystem is to make sure that the platforms that we're building, whether it's the Dell AI Factory or the Nutanix platform, provides as much choice as possible, right? We have as much choice as is possible in terms of customers deciding how they want to build out their AI deployments. So there's 4,000 Dell AI factories out there. When I talk with the product management teams at Dell around AI, there's an email a day, if not 10, from an AI company, startup to the biggest ones, saying, hey, we'd like to be certified, we'd like to run on your AI factory, and I know Gregory's getting the same. So the idea is to continue to build and create that choice, allow customers to be able to build out what they need to support their business.
And they're building an AI stack basically with containers.
1,000,000%.
That's the new AI infrastructure.
Yep.
What's your vision of the ecosystem?
Wow.
As they blend together and integrate and
yes.
It's connected.
Yes, sometimes we blend together, sometimes there's going to be competition, which is fine, necessary, natural, there's no issue with this. I think the role of the ecosystem is definitely for scaling. I mean, I used to have a manager who, a boss, a mentor, we used to say you need to stand on the shoulder of giants, Gregory. That was his tag word. If you do a search on your channel, you're going to find who it is.
Very open source like, we love that word.
I know.
I mean, that is teamwork.
That's my point.
And partnership.
That's my point, and so that's why I'm not very tall, so he can carry me on his shoulders, so it's pretty cool on this. But my point is
Can you carry him on your shoulders?
I don't think so. But my point about ecosystem, if we want to scale as a company, Nutanix, we're still a small company relatively to a giant like Dell. We really need to make sure we have the right ecosystem in place that are going to streamline, automatize all these selling motions, because like I said, 1,000 customers in just 1 quarter. Could you imagine the impact on an organization which is 10,000 employees? This is a big one, so.
All right.
Thanks so much for joining us, for coming on theCUBE. Gregory Lehrer with Nutanix and Todd Lieb with Dell. Great conversation. I'm Allison Kosick with John Furrier. We're going to be right back, don't go away.